This video is going to show you how to change the direct outputs on an Allen Heath GL2200. I'm sure it's very similar on other Allen Heath models of this era. Change the direct outs from post fader to pre-fader. Here are the direct outputs on the back. First thing we have to do is to remove the back cover. We've got 5 screws along the bottom, 3 on the side, 3 on the side, and 5 across the top. On my model, these screws are Torx 15. You might get away with an Allen key. When I put this back together, I'm going to change it over to Phillips just for ease. Okay, we have the mixer with the back off and upside down so that the top is facing me. Now I've already done this modification with success, so I'm going to show you what I did and then what I'm going to have to do for channels 1 and 2 because they're so close to the side of the chassis. I can't actually get a soldering iron in there. I'm going to have to remove these cards, so I'll walk you through that process. Okay, so we've got this ribbon cable and we've got this ground strap that goes between all the channels. Then we've got a cap, another cap, and just beneath these 2 caps here, we're going to see the words direct out. You can see direct out written right there. Now, up here, you've got PST, which means post fader, after the fader. And here we've got PRE, pre-fader, before the fader. You can see that I've moved a little jumper cable across to pre. These are my new solders, 1, 2. Previously, these were just here on post. And I've moved them across. I'll show you what it looks like on the other side and I'll show you how I moved them. Okay, there's the direct out. You can see post on the left, pre on the right. I've changed the jumper from post to pre, from left to right. You can see the higher little bits poking out. And on the other side, there is the jumper. And there are the 2 holes where it used to be. Post on the left, pre on the right. So that's what the jumper looks like, and every channel will have that jumper. There's one. Okay, so we're looking at the jumper just here. It's already been moved. What I would do is I would get a soldering iron, heat up the pad on the other side, get a flat-bladed screwdriver, wedge it in there and give it a little wriggle. Try and get some space between the jumper and the board while I'm heating up the pad. When there was enough space, I'd then come in with the pliers and while heating up the pad, yank the jumper out. I would then straighten out the jumper and re-bend the little turns, and I would then, with either the pliers or some tweezers, heat up the pads on the new position, which would be the pre-position, and just try and get it in while the pads are hot, and then add some solder, and I'll show you what that looks like on the other side now. So there you can see the direct out, the post, the pre, and you just want to move that jumper from post over to pre, and then repeat. Direct out, post to pre. You can see the new jumper coming through there. Direct out, post to pre, and just go all the way along. You'll get all of them done except for channels 1 and 2, which are right tight clearance. So I'm gonna take it apart now and walk you through. Okay, I'm gonna remove the nuts on these 3 jacks for channels 1 and 2. That's using an 11mm socket. And then there's one more screw for the XLR input, which is a Torx 10 bit. Okay, now I'm going to remove the knobs and the faders for channels 1 and 2 and keep them in order for reassembly. First thing I'm going to do is actually turn all the knobs to the left so that when it goes back on, I know exactly which way it should go on. There is a little indent in the knob, so it does only go on one way, but this will speed up the process rather than fiddling around trying to find it. If everything's to the left, I'm hoping that'll make it quicker. Okay, we have all the knobs and faders removed for channels 1 and 2, and here they are in order, ready for reassembly. Okay, now I'm going to remove the nuts and washers around each pot. Because of the length of the pot coming up, you need a deep socket. Again, an 11mm will fit. It's a little bit loose, but it fits good. Now I'm actually almost leaving a little bit of a mark here because of the metal end of the socket, so I'm going to put some masking tape on this. Okay, I've just put some masking tape on and just poked the hole through. It didn't do much damage, but if you're doing this from the start, I would suggest protecting it as much as possible. And finally, we have the two screws either end of the fader. Okay, it looks like the only thing left to do to remove these two channels is this ribbon cable clip, 1, 2, and this ground strap. I'm either going to have to clip it and resolder it. Okay, these ribbon cable connectors, there is a little tab right at the bottom. If you press gently with a flat-bladed screwdriver, then you can use pliers just to very gently shimmy this up side to side while putting pressure on this tab at the bottom here, on both sides. It's possible you don't even need to press on the tab, it could just be a friction fit. And if I were to do this again, I would leave 2 nuts or 1 nut in just below this in the board to stop the board from wiggling around when you're trying to get this connector off. That's what I would do. So we have this ground strap that runs all the way through all the channels. I'm just going to clip them right at the divot and then resolder them back together at the end. Okay, I'm hoping these 2 channels should just lift out. This input module actually can, try not to drop it, this input module actually connects through these header pins there, like that. That's how it connects. So this actually slides back and it can come off. Sometimes the fader is a bit stuck in position, just from years of being in position. Okay, so you have to push this back first. Push the input module back first. It'll actually come out separately. And then the whole channel should come out. Okay, channel 1 and 2 are removed. There's that ground strap that I clipped, and ribbon connectors, all the knobs, nuts, the fader screws. Here are the channels. So what we're looking for is direct out, post and pre. Let's get onto that. Okay, here's that direct out, post on the left, pre on the right. And there's that jumper. We're gonna have to move that over to the right. Funnily enough, it was actually easier to hold this while it was in the desk. All those were quite easy because they were all fixed. This one's loose and lying, so do your best to clamp it down to something. Okay, I'm gonna apply heat to the other side and just try and get some space. In fact, you can actually just wiggle the screwdriver in, get a little bit of space. We'll deform it a little bit, and then we can get the pliers on there. Of course, the whole board's going to want to move around while I'm doing this. Okay, I'm applying heat. Try and hold the board at the same time. That's annoying. Got it. That was really awkward. It's actually easier to do it with the boards in the desk. Okay, here's that little jumper all bent and deformed from me levering it out. I'm going to straighten it up and reform it so it fits good in the new hole. Now you're going to have to do this. I basically just use a pliers width, and that tends to be the right length. There's a fair bit of give. It can be awkward when you're in the desk trying to get this to be the right position, but I basically just do the end of the pliers and I just turn it up and you get something like that. Okay, this is where the jumper used to be. I've just loosely positioned it in its new position on the pre. Now I'm going to heat up those solder pads while pressing in on that jumper there and try to get it to seat properly. Okay, the jumper's in. I'm just going to finish off making a nice connection. Okay, just going to add a little bit more solder. Okay, I'm going to fit these back in position. Don't forget to slide on the input module. Actually, I took this one out first, so it should go back in second. I'm going to try putting the input module in by itself. No, surely not. Okay, that's on. It's pretty awkward, but wow, that's so awkward. Because there's so many knobs and things that all have to line up all at the same time. This is what I found just then works. You actually put the input module in position, then put the channel in position, and I'm pretty sure this input module. Go and bend those pins. There you go. In she goes. So channel in first. Then input module slides in. Wow. That was difficult, honestly. It's easier to do all these channels without taking them out. Do not take them out. Only take out 1 and 2 because you can't get in there. Okay, I'm going to resolder up this ground strap. I'll just position the 2 ends so they're right, touching each other right on the cut. Easy. And now this grooving cable connector. I think it's just friction. I don't think there is a tab at all. No, there's no tab. It's just friction.